What's happening, everyone? I'm just in my workshop, my new workshop. Here's the lights lit. I've got one here. I'm going to put a hanging light just so I can direct it where I want. Got these from Toolstation. They were $5.99 for free, and they're 12 volt 5 watt lights. All I've done was put a bit of terminal strip on them and just literally wired it up to a 12 volt 7 amp alarm battery, which I'll just charge at home. I've got a couple of them. And it should just last for quite a while. Now, I don't know if you can see, basically here is the engine. I've just been taking it apart. Now you can see I've just got bits everywhere of this bike. It's literally just filling my garage up now. But what I'm doing is using some engine and parts degreaser. Now this spray is from Halfords. I paid like $3.99 for it. All I'm doing is covering the engine in it, leaving it for 10 minutes. Going to get a brush it down, and then obviously most of the grease should just start to come off. You can see underneath it, it's absolutely caked in crap. So this will just basically dilute it a bit, and then just get a brush and water. I've got some tap water here in a bottle. Just going to make sure I don't go too heavy-handed with the water, because obviously it's going to get inside of the engine if you're not careful. I've just taken the oil pump out as well. And yeah, so there's a few exposed holes. Another thing with this engine on the bike as well is I took the exhaust bolts out of the cylinder head the other day, and guess what, they snapped, as you can see there. But it's not a big deal, because I'm going to do a little trick on that later on. Oh, and a little tip here, anyone who's going to do the same to a small engine, I'm using a basically a tray for painting and decorating, just using that. Just got an old one, just so the oil don't go all over my lovely new workbench which I've made. So yeah, and the workbench is made out of tongue and groove. I've got an 8x2 sheet of that and some carpenter's horses just to keep it upright. It's coming up loads better already, but you can see like under here on the stand there's just so much grime. It is absolutely minging. But I'm just going to start just scraping it all off with a knife, but I'm using the blunt side of the knife just because I don't want to scratch anything. This is a sort of thing really a wire brush could be used for, but it would probably ruin the wire brush at the same time. Also a bit of foam, a bit of cleaning foam, we'll just loosen up a load of it as well. Right, no wire brush, but I found this. This will do the trick, perfect. To make life a little easier, I just took the drive shaft off. I'm going to have to cover up the oil pump inlet because it is going to get caked otherwise. So, best thing I can put in there right now is one of these. That'll do the trick. Yeah, she's plugged. Should have probably put the strings in a little bit better. Don't worry guys, I know what I'm doing. I know there's a crankshaft in there and loads of other things. I just don't have any blue roll or anything in there right now. It's just to stop anything falling down there more than anything. Yeah, there we go, perfect. See, this is what 31 years worth of crap looks like. It's probably not seen daylight since 1990, this engine casing. It's absolutely caked. Like I said, I'm just getting the blunt side of the knife on there because it really does need more than just a brush on that, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's covered in dog shit like the foot pegs were or what, but that is horrible with an O. Look at it. Quite satisfying though. I think this is going to be the dirtiest job out of all of it. I can't wait to get it all painted and stuff, the whole thing. It's just going to need it. Right, so the top of the engine's done. Taking the mask out, flip the engine, draining all the oil out, and then I'm going to take this stand off. I think it's best I clean that separate because it's just getting in the way a bit. So I'm going to take that off and carry on. Stands off. Look how much crap has accumulated behind there. It's coming up so much better now. I've changed over to a bucket now and a toothbrush. It's gonna work it in all the little corners. The reason why I'm using this lovely toothbrush is because I've had it a few years and I no longer use it because I prefer the Oral-B ones. So this was just sat in my garage. I thought I've got a job for that. Bit overkill, I know, but it's better than going to the shop to buy another one. So I'm just going over it with some wipes now, just to get like these stubborn bits out. Just like, takes a little bit of work, but just take your time, it comes up nice. You can see here like the casing's looking really good now, so I'm quite happy with that. It's going to keep going around it, and like I say, once it's done I'm going to do a nice little colour change on it, I think. Something satisfying about this foam stuff. This looks good, doesn't it? When it's like on, you just get the impression that it actually cleans up nice. Right, that's enough engine cleaning for today. Just going to let that sit for a bit. There's still some obviously little bits of grime and dirt need to get out. When I take the inlet manifold off, I can clean around that as well properly. But overall, it's looking a lot better than it was. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Good news, I've got myself some wire brushes. I'm going to clean the engine a bit more. I've got basically some engine paint which I'm going to use on like the casing and stuff like that. This goes up to 180 degrees, got it from Halfords. And then I also got this stuff, very high temperature VHT black paint. So this is for like exhausts and manifolds and like stuff like that. I'm probably going to use it on the let's move that out of the way, on the cylinder head as well, and the cylinder, because it will make it look quite nice. Now I'm having a bit of a change of how I'm going to clean the engine and what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this stuff, this wheel cleaner. It's going to go over it and, you know, spray it all over the engine, because this is really strong stuff. It's what you use on the old alloy wheels, so hopefully it should do the job. Pour some water over it now, just to rinse it. Excuse the seagulls. So what I'm going to do now with this is just go over it and give it a good once over with this. See how much more needs cleaning off. There you go, the engine is looking a lot cleaner. I've got to spend a little bit more time on the head and the cylinder, but the actual casing is looking really good now. It's pretty chuffed for that. Starting to sand down the casing because there's quite a bit of bubbling going on, and if you can see it, look. So you're going to take that off, ready for its first coat. Right, it's that time to give it a nice spray now. For the first time in a long time, I actually can't be arsed today. It's too cold. I've painted this, but it's never going to dry properly. This doesn't want to settle. 2 big boxes of bits that need sorting. I just can't be arsed. Right, it's time to get the engine back together again. I painted the head and the cylinder. I'm always going right to left when I say that. So that's all done. And what I've gone and done as well, because I'm I would say thorough, but a bit obsessive, I think. So to make my life a lot easier, I couldn't find any spray paint. I found this gloss paint, actual like paint, you know, with a brush. So instead of me keep doing more and more coats forever and ever, any little imperfections that I see once I put it back on the bike, what I'm going to do is get my brush like that and give it a little brush over. But apart from that, it's actually looking pretty wicked. Can't wait, because Halford's actually sold out of the spray paint one and I couldn't find it, so I was like, nah. I've got this little brush as well, so what I'm going to do with that is paint all the nuts and bolts once they're on the bike, because I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours painting nuts and bolts. There is an easy way of doing it, which I can show you quickly. Like, you stick them through cardboard like that and spray the heads, but I'd rather just paint them on once on the bike.